The mysteries of celestial justice, the eerie origins of demons, the tale of the fallen angels, and the divine judgment that shaped the universe. As the heavens witnessed the dark alliance of 200 watchers, their vile actions invoked the wrath of God. The angelic rebellion, forbidden copulation, and the birth of giants known as Nephilim set the stage for a cosmic war. God's judgment unfolded, condemning the fallen angels to the abyss of fire and binding Azazel in the desert's depths. Explore the repercussions of this divine decree as the Nephilim faced a war among themselves, becoming the instruments of their own destruction. Yet, their spirits endured, marked by a curse that transformed them into malevolent forces known as evil spirits upon the earth. The women involved in this celestial conspiracy faced their own fate, becoming sirens, mythical creatures with a haunting blend of bird and female form. Unearth the origins of the mysterious sirens and their diverse mythological interpretations, from companions of goddesses to cursed beings in Greek and Hebrew lore. Journey through the legendary Lilith, a figure entwined with the demonological history, from Sumerian mythology to her role as Adam's rebellious first wife. As we unravel the layers of these ancient tales, each revealing a new facet of demonology, join us on a quest to understand the curses, wars, and divine justice that echo through the annals of myth and scripture. Let's jump in. The Judgment. Soon all their atrocities became obvious and it got the attention of the heavens. And God sent judgment against 200 watchers saying, "Bind Samiasa and his associates who have defiled themselves with women, when their sons, the Nephilim, have slain one another, and they have seen the destruction of their beloved ones. Bind these watchers for 70 generations in the valleys of the earth, till the day of their judgment, when they shall be led off to the abyss of fire, to the torment and the prison in which they shall be confined forever. Bind Azazel hand and foot and make an opening in the desert, and cast him therein. And place upon him rough and jagged rocks, and cover him with darkness, and let him abide there forever, and cover his face that he may not see light." And for the Nephilim, the angel Gabriel asked God to cause a war among them so they would be the destroyer of their race, and God agreed. However, this death will not be the end of their total existence. God also placed a curse on the Nephilim spirit, making this declaration. "Now, the giants, who are produced from the spirits and flesh, of angel and human, shall be called evil spirits upon the earth, and on the earth shall be their dwelling. Evil spirits have proceeded from their bodies, because they are born from men and the holy watchers, they shall be evil spirits on the earth, and evil spirits shall be called." This explains the origins of demons on the earth. God also cursed the women that were involved in the act, he says. "The women of the angels who went astray shall become sirens." Siren is a word that explains a creature that is half bird and half female, and this is related to the famous Jewish folklore of the demon called Lilith, which we will talk about shortly. The final judgment will affect the whole universe, as God saw that man had become wicked in his dealing and the influence of the watchers had brought great chaos, so God decided to cleanse the earth, saying, "Cleanse the earth from all impurity and all wrong and all lawlessness, and from all sin and godlessness and all impurities that have come upon the earth, remove." The destruction of the earth would bring about a chance for the earth to become pure again. So, Noah found favor in the sight of God, so God sent the angel Uriel to warn him and prepare him for the flood of destruction. God also asked Noah to warn the watchers about the punishment to come, so he went to Azazel, who summoned the others. When they heard the news, they were all afraid, and fear and trembling seized them. So, they asked Noah to plead their case, for God to forgive them, but they were not heard. Sirens. As I promised you, we will talk and throw more light on these creatures. There are multiple mythological stories of the sirens' origin. These range from claiming that the sirens are the daughters of Achilles, the chief river god of Greece, and one of the Muses, to explaining that they are the daughters of the titans Oceanus and Gaia. According to the influential Roman writer Ovid, the sirens were the companions of the goddess Persephone, who was abducted by Hades. The goddess Demeter then gives the sirens wings to search for Persephone. In other versions of the myth, Demeter curses and punishes the sirens by giving them wings. But in this context, in the Septuagint, the Greek Gospel of the Old Testament, there are several mentions of sirens without explicit description. In Isaiah, in chapter 13 verse 21, in the King James Version, owls and jackals are commonly mentioned. "But wild beasts of the desert shall lie there, and their houses shall be full of doleful creatures. An owl shall dwell there, and satyrs, NKJV, wild goats, shall dance there. The translation in the Greek Septuagint uses a word meaning sirens instead of owls/jackals. But wild animals will rest there, and the houses will be filled with noise. Their sirens will rest, and their demons will dance. In Greek mythology, sirens were beautiful half-bird, half-woman hybrids who lured sailors to destruction with the sweetness of their songs. One of the most important writings of Jewish mysticism explains that it was the earthly ladies that seduced the angels. The first woman to do this was Naaman, it says. Naamah, the mother of the demons, by whom the first saints were seduced, she, Naaman, by her beauty led astray the Son of God, Samiasa, and Azazel, and she bore them children, and from her went forth evil spirits and demons into the world. According to Zohar, Naaman and the other ladies who followed the same pattern were transformed into a half-human and half-bird. So Naamah, who happens to be the first to tempt the angels, was caused to be the mother of demons, whose duty is to carry a multi-tainted copulation to produce the darkest of spirits, as it says in Zohar. Naamah still exists, having her abode among the waves of the Great Sea. She goes forth and makes sport with men and conceives from them through their lustful dreams. From that lust she becomes pregnant. The sons whom she bears from human beings show themselves to the females of mankind, who become pregnant from them and bring forth a spirit, and they all go to the ancient Lilith, who brings them up. Lilith. I know you must have heard of this name. It was mentioned just once in the Bible but has a great impact on the mythological history of the creation. Sirens share similar characteristics to the ancient Sumerian female winged demon or wind spirit Lilitu, who dwells in desert and open country lands and is especially dangerous to pregnant women and infants, at times breastfeeding babies with poison, not milk. Lilith in the Hebrew scriptures appears as a feminine desert demon who torments men during the night. In the King James translation she is called a screech owl in the book of Isaiah, alluding to the demon's nocturnal flights in search of prey. Her name is mentioned along with destroying angels, demons, and other desert dwellers in the Songs of the Sage for protection against evil spirits, an apocryphal exorcism psalm found among the Dead Sea Scrolls. In medieval Talmudic and Jewish literature, Lilith became known as the first wife of Adam, created from the same soil as him. This mystical Jewish tradition attempted to reconcile the two creation stories of Adam and Eve, as presented in the book of Genesis. This can be seen in the Hebrew Bible in Genesis 1 verse 27, where God created them, male and female, in his image, both equal. Not until chapter 2:18 do we see Eve created. This equality between Adam and Lilith caused her to be disrespectful to Adam, and she refused to serve him, which eventually led her to run away from the Garden of Eden. She eventually coupled with a certain archangel called Samiel. It was said she seduced the angel, slept with him, and gave birth to demons. You see, both Lilith and Samiel are demonological parallels to Adam and Eve. In Zohar literature, it is said that after God cast out Adam and Eve, they were separated from each other for many years. In this period, Lilith went back to Adam and seduced him. She slept with him, and they produced two daughters. One of them is known as Naaman, who eventually seduced the first angel, and from there she gave birth to what the Zohar describes as demons. Lilith is scattered all through mythological books and literature. In the alphabet of Ben Sira, Lilith insolently refuses to be subservient to her husband, taking flight and fleeing from Adam and the Garden of Eden to become a demon who preys on the newly born infants of the descendants of Eve. The Zohar sees her as a temptress of innocent men, breeder of evil spirits, and carrier of disease. And in other traditions as the lover of Samuel, the chief of the fallen angels. Lilith is often depicted in medieval and Renaissance art as the half-woman half-serpent that tempted Eve to eat from the tree of knowledge of good and evil. This demon is mentioned in many mythological books and literature. According to the Book of Enoch, the pelican and the porcupine will possess it, and the owl and the raven will dwell in it. Over it, he will stretch a line, and chaos, and plumb lines of emptiness, and its nobles. They will call it no kingdom there, and all its princes will be nothing. Thorns will grow in its place, nettles and thistles in its fortresses. It will be the habitation of jackals, an abode for ostriches. Desert cats meet hyenas, and goat demons will call to each other. There too, Liliths will settle, and they will find a place of rest. The owl will make its nest there, and lay, and hatch, and gather under her shade. Indeed, buzzards will gather there, and everyone will mate. according to the book of Isaiah. And I, the instructor, proclaim his glorious splendor to frighten and to terrify all the spirits of the destroying angels, spirits of the bastards, demons, Lilith, howlers, and desert dwellers, and those which fall upon men without warning to lead them astray from a spirit of understanding and to make their heart and their desolate during the present dominion of wickedness and predetermined time of humiliations for the sons of light. According to the Zohar, our Hanina said, one may not sleep in a house alone, and whoever sleeps in a house alone is seized by Lilith. Rab Judah, citing Samuel, ruled, if an abortion had the likeness of Lilith, its mother is unclean because of the birth, for it is a child, but it has wings. So, it was also taught to our Jose stated that it once happened at Simone that a woman aborted the likeness of Lilith, and when the case came up for a decision before the sages, they ruled that it was a child but that it also had wings. According to the Babylonian Talmud, when God created the first man and the first woman from the earth like him and called the woman Lilith, Adam and Lilith promptly began to argue with each other. She said, I will not lie below, and he said, I will not lie below, but above, since you are fit for being below and I for being above. She said to him, the two of us are equal since we are both from the earth. And they would not listen to each other. Since Lilith saw how it was, she uttered God's ineffable name and flew away into the air. Adam stood in prayer before his Maker and said, Master of the universe, the woman you gave me fled from me. The Holy Blessed One immediately dispatched the three angels Sanoi, Sansonoi, and Samangelof after her, to bring her back. God said, if she wants to return, well and good. And if not, she must accept that 100 of her children will die every day. The angels pursued her and overtook her in the sea, in raging waters, the same waters in which the Egyptians would one day drown, and told her God's orders. And yet she did not want to return. They told her they would drown her in the sea, and she replied, leave me alone. I was only created to sicken babies, if they are boys, from birth to day 8 I will have power over them, if they are girls, from birth to day 20. When they heard her reply, they pleaded with her to come back. She swore to them in the name of the living God that whenever she would see them or their names or their images on an amulet, she would not overpower that baby, and she accepted that 100 of her children would die every day. Therefore, 100 of the demons die every day, and therefore, we write the names of the three angels on amulets of young children. When Lilith sees them, she remembers her oath, and the child is protected and healed. Thank you for joining us on this captivating journey into the realms of fallen angels and ancient mysteries. If you found this exploration intriguing, don't forget to show your support by hitting the like button and subscribing to our channel. Stay tuned for the upcoming chapters as we delve deeper into the enigmatic world of fallen angels, unveiling more secrets and untold stories.